You come ahead and lay the petition. Petition is referred to Ethics and Privileges report back in 2 weeks. Yes, point of order, Engineer Bukar Mustafa.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to come under Order 43 and 52, passing explanation and dispensation of notice. With your permission, I would like to bring...
Go ahead.
To enable this hallowed chamber to pay tribute to one of our colleagues, Senator Muhammad Kanti Bello. With your permission, we'd like to bring the motion tomorrow, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, Senator Bukar Mustafa has come on order 42 leave of us for us to consider that another legislative day. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Bring the motion in tomorrow. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished and respected colleagues, the first order of the day is the consideration of the reports of the Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petition in respect of A, petition from Mr. A.D. Edumo against the Nigerian Police Force for alleged wrongful dismissal from the force. B, petition from L.A. Idu Esquire on behalf of Mr. Abdulrahman Lamina against Commodore Abimbola O. Ayuba for using military might to resist vacating a private property. C, petition from Mr. Collins Iwe and 6 others against the management of Pipeline Products Marketing Company, PPMC, for alleged wrongful termination of their appointments by the company. D, petition from Charles Uetie against Corn Oil Nigeria PLC for non-payment of his entitlements after a forced resignation.
Order!
E, petition from Barrister Owete Emmanuel Chukudi against the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for his compulsory retirement and non-payment of his entitlements. F, petition from Sir Godfrey Ohuabunwa, KSC, on behalf of the Association of Licensed Set-Top Box STB Manufacturers of Nigeria against the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, for alleged non-payment of the set-top boxes manufactured and delivered. G, petition from Opia Toha K. Idoma against the Federal Character Commission and the Federal University of Agriculture, Makodi, for an alleged abuse of principles of federal character in the appointment of principal officers of the Federal University of Agriculture, Makodi. And H, petition from Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Edirin Arikbe against the Nigerian Army for wrongful retirement from the Army. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues will recall that these reports were laid on Tuesday, 30th May 2017 and Thursday, 8th June 2017, respectively. Mr. President, you may wish to invite very distinguished Senator Samuel Anyau to move the motion for the Senate to consider the report of the committee.
Senator Samayan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Sam Anyanwu. I move that the Senate, I represent Imo East. I move that the Senate do consider the reports of the Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions in respect of A, petition from Mr. A.D. Edumo against the Nigerian Police Force for alleged wrongful dismissal from the force. B, petition from L.A. Idu Esquire on behalf of Mr. Abdulrahman Lamina against Commodore Abimbola Ayuba for using military might to resist vacating a private property. C, petition from Mr. Collins Iwe and 6 others against the management of Pipeline and Products Marketing Company, PPMC, for alleged wrongful termination of the appointments by the company. D. Petition from Mr. Charles Oweche against Con Oil Nigeria PLC for non-payment of his entitlements after a forced resignation. E. Petition from Barrister Owete Emmanuel Chukudi against the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for his compulsory retirement and non-payment of entitlements. F. Petition from 6 Sir Geoffrey Ohabunwa, case on behalf of the Association of Licensed Set-Top Box STB Manufacturers of Nigeria against the National Broadcasting Corporation NBC for alleged non-payment of the set-top boxes manufactured and delivered. G. Petition from Opiako Idoma against the Federal Character Commission and the Federal University of Agriculture, Makodi, for an alleged abuse of the principles of federal character in the appointment of principal officers of the Federal University of Agriculture, Makodi. And finally, petition from Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Ediri Aribe against Nigerian Army for wrongful retirement from the Army. I so move, Mr. President.
Senator Tijani Kaura.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I rise to support the motion moved by the Chairman, Senate Committee on Privileges on items A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, as he earlier moved. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion as read out by Senator Samayan, those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. Ayes have it. Senator Samayan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, once again, my name is Sam Anyanwu. I represent Imo East and Imo State. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Senate will recall that on Tuesday, 12th January 2016, Senator Nelson A. Effiong, Akwa Ibom South, drew the attention of the Senate to a petition from his constituent, Mr. A.D. Edomo, on his wrongful dismissal from service by the Nigerian Police Force for alleged misconduct. In line with Order 43.3, the Senate referred the matter to the Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petitions for the third investigation. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I want us to go to observation since we have the report, and there's so many other things that I get out of this. Recommendations and findings. Observations and findings. After carefully examining the submissions of both parties, the committee noted as follows: that Mr. A.D. Edumo joined the Nigerian Police Force in 1984 as a Deputy Superintendent of Police DSP and rose to the rank of a Superintendent of Police SP in 1991. 2. That while he was serving in Akwa Ibom State in 1992 as officer in charge of works and transport, he was queried for misconduct, bordering on illegal conversion of a police pickup van to his personal use, and lied that it broke down in Aba, whereas the vehicle was actually his village in Oron doing haulage. And for unilaterally dividing a police Land Rover registration number NPF 3473A and unlawfully initiating without authority to purchase the supply of spare parts through a private contractor to the value of 4,233 naira for the repair of same vehicle, and later sold it to himself at the cost of 2,310 naira, using his mother, Otioro Hannah, as policy. 3. That his reply to the query did not exculpate him from the wrongdoing and was dismissed in accordance with the provisions of Public Officers Special Provisions Decree number 2017 of 1984, as it then applied through a letter number P22047/FS/64 dated 13th February 1995. 4. That on the basis of his passionate appeal to the Police Service Commission for the conversion of his dismissal to retirement, the Police Service Commission commuted his dismissal to compulsory retirement in a letter number PSC 1524-111 dated 13th February 2016 with dated from 25th May 2011, which the officer had acknowledged in a letter dated 18th April 2016, addressed to the Inspector General of Police. And 5, that officer had applied to the Nigerian Police Force for the payment of his retirement benefits. Recommendations. In view of the following findings above, the committee recommends as follows. 1, that the Senate do commend the Nigerian Police Force for compassionately commuting the dismissal of Mr. A.D. Edumo to compulsory retirement in accordance with the officer's pleas. And 2, that the Senate do urge the Nigerian Police Force to pay Mr. A.D. his retirement benefit. Mr. President, colleagues, this matter has been put to rest, this issue has been concluded, and the man has been awarded retirement and in fact has pursued his retirement benefits. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, I think this is a straightforward matter, so I'll just go through recommendations. Recommendation 1, that the Senate do commend Nigerian Police Force for compassionately commuting the dismissal of Sir Eddie Edumo to compulsory retirement in accordance with the officer's pleas. Those in favor of recommendation 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Recommendation 2, that the Senate do urge the Nigerian Police Force to pay Mr. Eddie Edumo his retirement benefits. Those in favor of recommendation 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Chairman. Can you go to the next report?
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Senate will recall that on Wednesday, 8 June 2016, Rising Order 41, Senator Maro A. Ovabunwa, Abia North, drew the attention of the Senate to a petition from L.A. Idu Esquire on behalf of Mr. Abdurrahman Lamina against, for resisting vacation of his property, private property, and urged the Senate to look into the matter. In line with Order 41.3, the Senate referred the matter to the Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions for the third investigation. I would like colleagues to go through this report, but let me go to the observation and findings. But I would like colleagues to go through this report. Observations and findings. After going through this long and windy investigation part, the committee came to the following conclusions. 1, that although Commodore Abimbola A. O. Ayuba avoided appearing before the committee by using force to turn back courier messengers carrying letters of the committee was able to unravel the truth about the ownership of the property in dispute. 2, that whereas the Nigerian Navy claimed ownership of the house number 5, Child Avenue, GRA, Papa, Lagos, he could not provide a single documentary proof of ownership. 3, that the insight provided by the Ministry of Transport on the matter also indicated that house number 5, Child Avenue, Apapa, GRA, Lagos, was not only sold with the approval of the Ministry by NPA to Mr. Abdurrahman Lamina. The petitioner paid his full purchase price. And 4, that the Ministry of Transport has provided evidence that the house in question actually belonged to NPA, but was forcefully taken by the military. And the military were unable to prove ownership. The committee is compelled to conclude the house number 5, Child Avenue, GRA, Apapa, Lagos, and it was sold to Mr. Abraham Lamina and a property of NPA, and by this sale, it was now the property of Mr. Abraham Lamina. 6, recommendations. Overwhelmingly convinced by the findings above, the committee wishes to recommend as follows: that Mr. Abraham Lamina be allowed to take possession of his house at number 5, Child Avenue, GRA, Papa, Lagos, because he followed due process in purchasing the property from the rightful owner, the NPA. And 2, that the Senate do direct the Nigerian Navy to peacefully hand over the said property to Mr. Abraham Lamina without any further delay, as justice and fair play demands. Conclusion. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, on behalf of the committee, we thank the committee, Senate, for giving us the opportunity to serve. Thank you, Mr. President. This matter, the NPA, the Minister for Transport, they came all agree, and then the Navy also have been able to agree that to hand over the property to the owner. Thank you.
Any comments before I put the questions on recommendations? Recommendation 1 then, that Abdurrahman Lamina be allowed to take possession of his house number 5, Child Avenue, GRA, Papa, Lagos, because he followed due process in purchasing the property from the rightful owner and the MPA. Those in favor of recommendation 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Recommendation 2, that the Senate do direct the Nigerian Navy to peacefully hand over the said property to Mr. Abdurrahman Lamina without any further delay as justice and fair play demand. Those in favor of recommendation 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Chairman. Can we go to the next report?
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. The Senate will record that on Wednesday, 9 December 2015, Rising Order 41, Senator George T. Sekibo, Rivers East, drew the attention of the Senate to a petition from Mr. Collins Iwe and his orders against the management of Pipelines and Products Marketing Company for alleged wrongful termination of the appointments by the company and urge the Senate to look into the matter. In doing so, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I want us to go to observations and findings since we have the report. After going through the submissions of both parties, the committee found as follows. 1, that at the end of the investigation, the panel directed the management of PPMC to recall the petitioners back and pay them all their entitlements while on suspension, which they did, but terminated their appointments 3 weeks later. 2, that after the termination of their appointment, the petitioners approached PPMC/NNPC Management Disciplinary Committee, which recommended that the termination of the appointment be converted to retirement accordingly, considering the number of years they had put in service, but that PPMC did not implement the recommendation. And 3, that the House of Representatives passed a resolution on the matter on the 29th June 2010 that the termination of the petitioners' appointments be converted to retirement, with all their entitlements being fully paid from the date of termination of their appointment to 31st December 2006, which was conveyed to the Group Managing Director of National Petroleum Corporation by the then clerk to the National Assembly, Salisu A. Makasua, MNI. 6, recommendation. Having fully heard and considered the submissions of petitioners and the respondents in the light of evidence available, the committee recommends that the termination of appointments of the petitioners be converted to retirement, with all the entitlements fully paid from the date of the termination of the appointment to 31st December 2006, since the House of Representatives Committee of the Whole in plenary was convinced beyond reasonable doubt and has resolved in the affirmative. In conclusion, Mr. President and colleagues, on behalf of the committee, I thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, a straightforward matter, so I'll just go straight to recommendation. Recommendation that the termination of appointments of the petitioners be converted to retirement, with all the entitlements fully paid from the date of the termination of the appointments of 30 December 2006, since the House of Representatives of the Whole in plenary was convinced beyond reasonable doubt and are resolved in the affirmative. Those in favor of this recommendation say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Chairman. Next report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Senate will record that on Wednesday, 22nd June 2016, Rising Order 41, Senator Ovie Omoagege, Delta Central, drew the attention of the Senate to a petition from his constituent, Mr. Charles Oweche, against Konoye Nigerian PLC for non-payment of his payment after being forced to resign from the company, and urge the Senate to look into the matter. First of all, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I would like to go to observation and findings because this matter is a straightforward case. Observation and findings. In a letter dated 25th April 2017 addressed to the chairman of the committee, the petitioner pleaded with the committee that he be allowed to withdraw his petition as the management of Konoye PLC had invited him for a meeting and agreed to pay him his severance benefit in 6 installments, should he agree to withdraw the matter from the committee. 2, that upon the approval, the withdrawal of the petition from the committee, Konoye has paid him 21.1 million in 6 installments from the 29.3 million he claimed to be owed. That the committee observed that with satisfaction that through its dogged determination to have Konoye pay the petitioner the debt owed him, he was finally paid. Recommendation from the findings above, they said do appreciate Konoye Nigeria PLC for paying the petitioner via an agreement executed outside the committee, thereby bringing the case to a close. Mr. President, this matter, with the help of the committee of the Senate, the Konoyi refused to go into the matter and they said agreed to pay, and they have settled the petitioner. Thank you, Mr. President.
But Chairman, again, let me continue to commend your committee, and of course also the senator representing the gentleman, because this is a case of somebody who, if not for the effort of you bringing it up and that of the committee, and this process of us looking at all these cases of petitions, will not have found rest being able to find a solution to this problem. I'm happy to see that the Konoyi oil have now paid him. So I think there's no recommendation before us than just to appreciate the response of the Konoyi Nigeria Limited for paying the petitioner and bring this case to a close. Thank you, Chairman. Next report.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. The Senate will recall that on Wednesday, 27 January 2016, Rising Under 41 Senator Samuel Anyanwu drew the attention of the Senate to a petition from his constituent, which came through the office of the Senate President, Barrister Owete Emmanuel Chukwudi, against the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) over his compulsory retirement and non-payment of his entitlement, and urged the Senate to look into the matter. Mr. President, because this is another straightforward case, I would like to go to observation and findings. Observation and findings. After carefully studying the submissions of both parties, the committee noted as follows: that Barrister Owete Emmanuel joined the Independent National Electoral Commission on 20th February 1989 as an administrative officer and rose to the rank of an assistant director on 1st July 2007. That officer was compulsory retired from the service of the commission on 18th December 2011 for an alleged misconduct of threatening the lives of 5 committee members considered by the resident electoral commissioner in Imo State for the recruitment of ad hoc staff in the build-up to voters' registration exercise and the 2011 general elections without giving him a fair hearing. That the Barrister Chukwudi challenged his retirement at the National Industrial Court of Nigeria, which ruled, after examining his case, in his favor and threatened INEC to restate him. 4. That INEC, in compliance with court rulings in favor of the petitioner, restated him on 26th May 2016 and deployed him to INEC office in Anambra State. And that the petitioner confirmed that he had been restated and resumed duty at INEC office in Anambra State. In view of the findings above, the committee hereby recommends as follows: that the Senate do commend Independent National Electoral Commission for its timely compliance with the ruling of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria by reinstating Barrister Owete Emmanuel in the service of the Commission. In conclusion, Mr. President, it's as a result of the intervention of the committee that the INEC was able to restate him back. So we thank the committee for giving us the opportunity, the Senate the opportunity to serve. Thank you, Mr. President.
Chairman, again, let me, I can't stop raising some of these issues so that we all see democracy at work and the best. This was a gentleman that was retired as far back as 2011, and nothing had been done. He was left there in his predicament, and he came with the petition came to us January 2016, after 5 years of which he had been compulsory retired, and less than 6 months after the petition came to us, he was recalled by May 2016. So really, let us commend the INEC for its timely compliance with the ruling of National Industrial Court, and also thank the committee for the work that you are doing to really give hope to Nigerians where they can come to the National Assembly in order to ensure that their rights are not trampled on. So yes, those that are in favor of the recommendation, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Chairman, I thank you. Next report.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Senate will record that on Wednesday, 25th January 2017, Rising on the Order 41, Senator Maho Ohabunwa Abianot drew the attention of the Senate to a petition from Sir Geoffrey Ohabunwa, a KSC, on behalf of the Association of Licensed Set-Top Box (STB) Manufacturers of Nigeria against the National Broadcasting Commission for alleged non-payment of the set-top boxes manufactured and delivered and urge the Senate to look into the matter. This is another straightforward case, Mr. President. I would like us to go to observation and findings. After examining the submissions of the petitioner and respondent, the committee observed as follows: that following the petition's request, that the House of Representatives ad hoc committee on the process of digital broadcast switch over in Nigeria, which had already stepped into the matter, be allowed to conclude work on the case. The committee decided to hear the request and await the outcome. And two, that the ad hoc committee, having completed its work, informed the committee that the matter had been amicably resolved and the both parties were satisfied. Recommendation: from the above findings, the committee wishes to recommend as follows: that since the matter has been meticulously handled by the House of Representatives ad hoc committee on the process of digital switchover in Nigeria to the satisfaction of the parties, the Senate do accept and recommend the House committee for the amicable resolution of the petition. Mr. President, this matter came to us while it was in the House of Reps. We waited for them to finish. When they finished, they brought their matter to us, and the petitioner came to us and approached with respondents that the matter has been solved. The petitioners have been duly paid all the monies owed to them by the NBC. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Chairman. Again, this is a pretty straightforward case. We'll take the recommendation that since the matter is meticulously handled by the House of Representatives ad hoc committee on the process of digital broadcast switchover in Nigeria to the satisfaction of the parties, the Senate do accept and commend the House committee for the amicable resolution of the petition. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Chairman, next report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dear colleagues, the Senate will recall that on Thursday, 3rd November 2016, Rising Order 41, Senator Samuel Anyan will do the attention of the Senate President, the petition from the Office of the Senate President to a petition from Adoka Adaji on behalf of Opatoha Idoma against the Federal Character Commission and the Federal University of Agriculture, Omakodi, for alleged abuse of federal character principles in appointment of principal officers of the Federal University of Agriculture, Omakodi. In line